All right, we are now recording, so we can go ahead and get started. Retirement planning. Thank you guys again for showing up. I'm Chad Lively. I'm the lead financial planner with Lively Financial, and I actually want to just talk a little bit about how much I've been enjoying doing these webinars lately. We've been having a ton of people register for them. The turnout's been good. The Q&As have been great. So I've really enjoyed doing these webinars lately, and I've got you guys to thank for that. So again, thank you for your time today. We're going to be covering retirement planning. As a lot of you guys know, it's going to be pretty crucial when it comes to the quality of the later years of your life. It's going to be one of the biggest financial goals most people end up saving for in their lifetime. Specifically, we're going to discuss budgeting for retirement. We're going to talk about retirement age. When do you how that impacts your Social Security? We're going to talk about investing for retirement. We're going to talk about estate planning, and we're also going to talk some about healthcare. So some things about some insurance opportunities you have with that, some options around Medicare, Medicaid, things like that. Before we get into any specific details, I do have to give a disclaimer. This is all just from my experience as a financial planner and an advisor, my educated opinions working in the industry, and there is no such thing as one size fits all whenever it comes to retirement planning or any other sort of financial advice. So before you take any of these tips and you run with it, think about your specific situation. And when in doubt, I always recommend reaching out to a third party. I am more than happy to meet with and help anyone who's on this call if you have any questions afterwards or anything like that. Now, we can finally get into it. So, why does retirement planning matter? I'd imagine if you're on this webinar, you probably already have some sort of idea on why retirement is important and why planning around it is just as important. But I'm going to throw up some pretty succinct points. Retirement planning is going to help you maintain your desired lifestyle in retirement. It's going to help you ensure that you've got sufficient funds to support your preferred lifestyle choices, things like travel, hobbies, other activities. Without proper planning, you may need to make significant lifestyle adjustments to compromise on your retirement goals. These are supposed to be your golden years. That's what we want to preserve. Avoid running out of money. The fear of outliving your savings is a very common concern in retirement, especially as medicine improves, life expectancy increases. By engaging in comprehensive retirement planning, you're able to to some degree, estimate your retirement expenses, evaluate your income sources, and develop strategies to help ensure that your savings will last throughout your retirement years. This is a pretty big one because it is impacting more and more people. Planning for unexpected expenses. Retirement planning will allow you to build a financial cushion. A lot of people lose sight of needing an emergency account whenever they reach retirement, and that's usually one of the biggest mistakes that you can have hinder your retirement. So proper planning will allow you to maintain holding an emergency fund. Whenever you have a contingency fund, you can maintain your financial security and avoid depleting your retirement savings when emergencies do arrive. Proper planning will allow you to leave a legacy for loved ones. You'll have an estate plan set up. It'll allow you to not only consider your financial needs, but also those of your spouse or your children or your loved ones effectively. Making appropriate arrangements and having the proper beneficiary designations will allow you to leave a financial legacy for your children or even charitable causes if you end up wanting to go that route. And most importantly, proper retirement planning will help reduce financial stress in retirement. By having a solid retirement plan in place, you'll be able to enjoy those golden years with peace of mind, knowing you've made appropriate financial arrangements. This will reduce your stress associated with financial uncertainty, and that will allow you on doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is focusing on enjoying your retirement. So the steps that we're going to go through today is first, we're going to look at how to determine your retirement needs. How much money do you need for retirement? Where is really the first place to start looking at calculating what your expenses might be later down the line? Then we're going to look at what retirement accounts should we open. We figured out how much money we need. Now, where are we going to store this money to let it hopefully compound and grow as we approach retirement? Step 3 is going to be looking at how we're going to fund these financial goals. This is where we're going to take a closer look on something like Social Security, things of that nature. Step 4 is managing your investment portfolio. How do we start out, investing for our retirement? How do we change our investment portfolio as we slowly approach retirement or eventually move into retirement and are now making withdrawals to actually live off of our investments? So that's what we're going to be looking at throughout this presentation, starting with assessing your retirement needs. So estimating your expected expenses in retirement, you're going to want to consider your current lifestyle. A lot of people take their current expenses and maybe assume that they keep 80% of those expenses into retirement. So adjust for potential changes, because a lot of things will change down the line, but keep in mind housing costs, healthcare expenses will probably go up as you get older, food and groceries, transportation, other living expenses. If you already have a budget or you kind of have a good semblance of knowing your expenses, it will make it a lot easier to help predict them in the future. But you do have to account for inflation. Inflation is going to erode your purchasing power pretty much no matter what. The best thing you can do is try to outpace it with investing. But whenever you're looking at your current budget and you're trying to extrapolate your expenses today to try to figure out what your expenses will be 30 years down the line, you're going to want to take into account inflation. So this will help ensure that your income and savings keep up with the increasing cost of living down the line. You're also going to want to keep in mind anticipated lifestyle changes. So consider activities, hobbies, think about the things that you've always wanted to do and will hopefully end up doing in retirement. These are going to be specific lifestyle choices. Interests, deciding, maybe taking trips, travel, leisure activities. If you have a specific travel or leisure goals, account for them in your retirement plans. Consider the destinations you'd like to visit. Look up, I'm serious, look up things like the price of flights. Look up how long it would how long you'd want to stay there, what the price of that will be, and figure out the associated costs. Naturally, you will have to account for inflation into those calculations, but this is really the best place to start. And something that I definitely recommend to all my clients is don't forget that you're probably saving for people outside of just yourself. It is your retirement, but I'd imagine you want to travel with your spouse or maybe your children or your grandchildren. Keep in mind that you may want to take them on these trips, and because of that, that's going to increase your expenses. Lastly, and one that I cannot understate, have an emergency fund. A lot of people think that whenever they move into retirement, okay,